It would take an investigation of the actual hole itself to get more information than that.
Yeah.
So the hallway's safe.
The hallway is safe because the engine's turned off.
Mm-hmm.
If the engine was turned on, there would be heat.
Cool.
All right.
If the ship was traveling, there'd be a fuck ton of heat.
Yeah, I guess I'll continue investigating the actual function mark.
Okay.
So if you say it's safe, I would lead the crew past you then.
Yeah, I'll
While
let
you
you know.
investigate.
Do you inform them
I will
of the
stay with
punctures
Winnie.
or no?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll tell him about it.
Sure. So you mentioned the punctures, and Clark will actually say, what?
Yeah, no, heat. I mean, I have to look at it further, but yeah.
So you mean, and he waves his hands through like the cloud in front of him. These were people?
Oh yes, they were clearly people. Humans, to be in fact.
That's disgusting. You know, he kind of like looks to the rest of the crew, who aren't doing very well with all the travel and everything that they had to do. The fact that they're moving with these like heavy boots, which takes a lot of abdominal strength to do, and the fact that they're all starving and everything. So they're not doing very well. But hearing that news and looking at them, their morale has like dropped hard, and so he's just kind of like, ugh. And he's gonna go over and try to investigate the hole with you as well, there, Aaron. So him, you, and Cattle will be together. Everybody else can fuck off, I guess. So we're gonna do an investigation check on that one. But because you do have Cattle and him assisting you, you can do for me an intelligence electronics check. But Cattle and him assisting you is gonna give you a +2 on that.
Okay, cool.
It's a really good roll. So what you're able to notice is that it was clearly heat that melted this through, the heat from the inside blasting outwards. Looks like what it was, just the pattern of the melting happened, clearly came through in almost like a pinpoint size hole. It's not something that you would easily be able to find just by looking around, but definitely like a tiny little hole, maybe the size of a marble. So not quite pinpoint, pinpoint for an engine. Maybe the size of like a marble, half the size of a marble, is where all the heat vented out of, at least on this side. It's probably the same on the other side. Clearly it was from the inside coming outwards. How it is that happens, you don't have enough data to figure that out. But the simple fact of the matter is, it was heat blasting outwards from the inside that caused this. This is a combination of you, Clark, and Cattle together, kind of like racking your brains and looking at the patterns and figuring things out, and da-da-da-da. Okay? The next room is the actual engineering.
So, yeah.
You guys travel through?
Yeah.
Krax is actually going to suggest something to the humans first.
Sure.
Which is, if they're having trouble, like, walking, if they have, like, safety lines, they can actually attach it to him, and he'll just essentially carry them as well.
It's kind of a unanimous and simultaneous no.
It's like,
no.
I mean, I offered to help.
Clark will be the one that chimes in before any of them say anything more, and he's like, "And thank you for your help, Krax. You're invaluable."
Krax just like nods and just keeps walking.
So you
Carrying
guys,
this giant thing floating behind him.
when you guys go into the actual engineering room, one of the things that you see inside, the engine is clearly powered off. The big, large engine inside there is clearly powered off. Aaron, everybody, I should say, this is an older model Alliance ship. It's Alliance, so it's quality stuff, but it is an older model. So the engine it doesn't look as graceful as it does again for, say, a Quarian vessel. It seems like a kid could build this sort of a thing. Not literally, but so you
yeah, but it's cute.
When you guys go in there and you look around, everything is completely powered off. It's a very, very quiet engine room. There's not even subsystems. There's nothing running whatsoever. Everything is completely powered off. And so this is where you are. Once again, the door walking in here was completely open. So as you guys kind of walk in and start like fanning out and looking around at everything and checking the consoles and confirming all of this information, finally, what's his name there? Clark says, "All right, here we are. This is where we need it to be. This is where we're going to get the data that we need for to bring back to the Alliance. We'll just need to collect this. They will, I've already triggered a beacon for them to meet us out here, so they know exactly where we are. They'll be able to collect all the ships and everything. We just need to get this data and transport it as soon as possible.
I would ask Winnie at this point, how easy would it be to power up the, just basically power up at least a power reactor so that we could get onto the bridge and access, find the files that we're looking for?
How easy, Scott?
I mean, you pretty sure that with the jump of these B batteries, it wouldn't be easy, but you probably get enough charge to get the ignition effectively started of the ship, so the ship would be able to power itself as soon as it gets its original ignition. The concern is, if you do that, that room has heat venting into that room.
Right.
And so it would get, as long as you don't turn on the actual like thrusters, it'll get very hot and very dangerous quickly, but not like instantly.
Are you discussing this on comms?
Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine everybody's on
I
the
would
channel.
say I can send you through that corridor with ease. It's a straight line.
Do you mean?
Okay.
Do you mean to send us through quickly if we need to?
I would use my biotic abilities, yes, just like we did with the elevator shaft.
But the concern is, if these engines are turned on, that's going to get so hot in there, it's going to be able to turn people to dust. I don't think, no matter how quick you send people through, even this room will get hot. It's an open door.
It seems very unlikely that it would get so hot that you would instantly vaporize within the short time frame we need to be here to get the data.
Do we want to take that chance?
It would be best not to. But it is an option if we do.
Well, here, Cracks, let me see that. Can you put that down over here? And you go over and kind of float over in front of him, like the big thing that you're carrying, right?
I'll help get it down.
Krax also just makes a quick comment of yeah, the bones melt. Our human bones melt at 4,000 degrees. That would be the temperature of the sun, or something like that. Oh wait, that's a reactor temperature.
So you go over and you put it down and you make your note, and everybody's just kind of it doesn't matter how accurate the numbers or whatever are, everybody's concerned by the dangers of that in general, varying degrees of concern. When you put that down and you kind of cracks open the crate and everything that's in there, you see there's a strange-looking electronic device that's all set up. It has multiple chambers. It's all housed, right? It all has a metal plating and housing to it. So nothing like anything on the inside is exposed. But whatever electronic device this is, it has a whole bunch of different chambers and everything set up to it that are all adjacent to one another. So it looks like just blocks put together and housed together. And it's it's not the most beautiful looking thing, but it's large, it's bulky, it's heavy, but it is some sort of device that's right there. You won't be able to tell immediately by looking at it. He's like, this is where we need to store that data into. So what we're gonna have to do is plug this into the actual system and have the data stored into here. And when we do that, we'll be able to bring this out of here. The problem is, I don't know if we're going to be able to bring the data from there to here without powering up the engine. We're discussing powering up the engine being a danger. I just don't know if this is something that we can do without powering it up. Why don't we at least get this set up in the meanwhile? Winnie, do you think you can assist?
Yeah, of course.
Cattle, you seem to have an understanding of these things. Do you want to come over as well?
Sure.
And so it's easy. It's nice and easy to carry. He kind of lifts it up and pushes it over and puts it down super easily on the other side. And once he pushes it down, it clamps it into the ground right over next to a panel on the wall. And so when he goes over to the wall, he starts unscrewing it or whatever. He finally removes the panel from the wall and kind of lets it float off to the side or whatever. Could you guys do me a favor? Anybody who's paying attention to this, if you're looking around at something else, if you're not a part of this, you don't have to roll. But if you feel as though you're actively watching this, you're interested in it, you can actually roll for me a perception wisdom check or a perception intelligence check, either one.
So did Clark know what this is?
Does what?
Does Clark know what this is?
You didn't ask him.
I've been in his brain. Can I get a modifier for that, at least?
I will allow you a talk wisdom check with a +2.
Oh, sweet. It's
Krax
actually
is-
way better than me.
Talking to the rest of the humans about like his family's military history.
Still bad.
You
Plus
rolled
2.
poorly,
I
I'm sorry.
keep writing +2. Oh well, whatever. Doesn't matter.
Was it a plus plus?
No, I don't think that affected that one.
No, I didn't know. All right, so
I'm just bad.
yeah, you just rolled poorly.
Wasn't paying attention to things during that melding session.
That's fine. So let's see, perception, and talk. All right, so with your perception check, Cattle, you were able. Did she roll a natty? Let me just check that right there. Oh wow, she just rolled an 11 plus 3. Holy crap! So Cattle, with your perception check, what you were able to notice was that this this device that's here in front of you, whatever kind of like storage container or whatever it is that he's referring to, it looks like it clearly was designed to port directly into what's inside the wall right there. And it's almost like whatever this was, it was clearly designed specifically for whatever was inside the wall right there. You can see that no problem, right? It's very obvious to you. Winnie, what you see is that the device inside the wall, if you strip away all the things it's connected to, all the stuff around it, all the things that are behind it, if you were like somehow perfectly removed what he's connecting it to in the wall and pull it out here, it looks identical. 100% identical to the device that he just carried in here. It's like the two different things are perfectly identical to one another. Okay? And so he's having you guys kind of like connect the things in, which he's just kind of like directs it, and you guys figure it out pretty easily. Not a big deal. Once it's all connected together, he then says, you have those type B power cells. I say we try to power just this one thing up right here and see if we can do it. Okay.
All right, Scott, I'm gonna look for an opportunity to try to get Cattle like off to the side, like see if like even like make an excuse like, oh, like I have to go check something over there, like.
Cattle's already like eyeing everything very carefully, so yeah, he'll pick up on that and like.
Very easily, after you guys are done connecting everything completely, and he's like, we just need to get these type 2 batteries to see if we can do that whatsoever. Hey, Krax, can you bring those batteries over here so I can connect up, help me connect up one to this one and one to this one over here. It's like while Krax is kind of like going over with him while he's doing that.
Yep.
And I imagine Krax is saying his Krax things, which is distracting in its own way.
Yeah, no, he's like telling his family history. It's like, yeah, my great brood father killed a thresher maw on his own with his bare hands. And just stuff like that. Just, stereotypical Krogan things. It's like, what did your great grandfather do?
So I'll kind of like wave like Cattle over and like noticeably turn off my comms and wait for him to do the same.
I will, yeah.
So Cuddle,
Cuddle.
something we should probably talk about. This information, the software, it's weaponized, and I just want you to be aware of that before you make the decision to hand it over to them.
Weaponized in what way?
New. And probably dangerous, since the word weaponized.
I see. Do we trust humans with it? Because I might know someone who's also interested.
Just letting you know. I have no opinion on the matter, I suppose. But I will tell you that it's directly connected to the hardware, so we're gonna need that. The cube.
We're gonna need the whole thing.
I need the whole thing.
Jesus Christ.
It's not like we can like make a copy. That's smaller.
I was afraid you were gonna say something like that. Right, that makes things interesting. Thanks for letting me know.
All right, get these connected up over here. And the two of them are. He has one battery connected to one and one battery connected to the other one. So just those things are being powered. And he's sitting there on his Omni tool and trying to make it happen, trying to make the transfer of data happen. And after like a minute or so, he's like, "No, come on, no. Why are you resisting?"
Cattle voice up and like, you having trouble there?
Yeah, hold on one second. He turns off his comms and kind of goes off to the side. He kind of like turns his back to you guys, and he is clearly speaking to something. And the way he like holds his Omni tool, you can see that the way like the patterns or whatever are happening on there, you can see that it's like reading his voice signature or whatever it is. He's giving some sort of voice command to it. Like that's very obvious. What he's saying, all that stuff, you're not able to just pick up because he has his comms turned off, and you are effectively in the vacuum of space, right? So he is doing that and speaking to the thing or whatever. And then you can actually see like you can, if anybody is like super observant, can see that the way that the signature of sound is being picked up, he's obviously getting aggravated because like it's picking up like a louder or more direct
clipping.
voice. Yeah, and so he's speaking at the thing quite loudly, and eventually he's just kind of like ugh, and, like smacks his on the tool like just with frustration, and cancels the program and turns his comms back on. He's like, it won't work. The program is resisting the transfer. It's not able to be overridden and put in there without the actual engine turned on. It's not going to work without doing so. We need to turn the engine on. The problem is, and he gestures towards the open door, with these doors open, we could be immediately putting ourselves into danger. We don't know exactly the extent of... The whole ship has gone haywire. Everything's powered off. Everything is open and exposed. If we just power it back on, who's to say that we ourselves won't be left open and exposed? We need to seal this door shut. We need to protect ourselves. Any thoughts on how it is that we can seal this door?
Doors usually break closed. It should be a mechanical issue more than a electronical one.
That sounds like a really logical way of viewing this. However, every single solitary door we've come across has been that way. So it's not going to be.
And we've already seen a very impressive hacking from the attacks here. It could be a very impressive hack. Let me take a look at the mechanics behind the door. And she like goes over and pulls and then goes, Cracks, can you remove this wall panel and stuff like that?
Cracks just like, yeah, he like walks over and
still talking to someone else.
No, he probably starts telling you his family history.
She listens though.
And yeah, he like goes up, puts his hands on the side of the panel if there's any grips or anything, and yanks.
While she's fiddling with this. Is it an electronics intelligence? She was like, the fair warning is, once triggering this to close, opening it will be far harder. Again. But there's usually...
We have a battering ram. It'll be fine.
There's usually multiple ways out of an engineering room. No race would create a ship with one way out of a room. Doesn't make sense. Like fiddling with all these things in like servos and hydraulics and all that stuff, getting greasy with it.
So Cracks comes over and just kind of like rips the panel off the wall, and you go back there and you're actually dealing with the actual wires themselves, not with line shunts or any fancy technology, and you're looking at everything.
Yeah.
And so you're looking through the whole thing, and you're seeing that there was in fact something that mechanical that locks the doors open. What happened was somehow, you don't know, but somehow a wire was severed over at its base where it connects to the port and everything that literally powered down one of the magnets, like took the full charge of one of the magnets. Immediately after, it did the flip the electronic charge to open it, and so powered it down that way so that there was no charge to it whatsoever. And then another wire, once again, took the charge from that, flipped the charge of that magnet, so it actually specifically magnetizes the door open. So it's one of those things where the doors fail safety with switch, lock open. And if that happened here, then it's very likely that happened everywhere else. And the only way to fix it was to literally get into the wall, and this is going to be for every single solitary door, literally get into the wall and to manually fix the wires of every single solitary door. But not just one side. Doors have two sides. Like, you're going to have to do it on the other side, too.
Therein being the issue, because... am I right in that makes the door very hard to open again?
I mean, you can fuck with the wires manually again, like with your actual hands to make it open again, but you're not going to be able to do it electronically.
Because I can only close it from the side I'm on then.
Yes.
Is that
But
going to be good
magnets,
enough?
How do they work?
Is that going to reduce the heat coming in enough?
I mean, the doors are designed specifically to resist the heat that's coming from over there. These are the doors that go into engineering. They're not quite the same doors as everywhere else. So, probably. At least it's going to be better than being exposed.
I'll do the one, and I will relay this information, like, explicitly to, like, Clark and Winnie. But then I'll say, my plan, if we need to get out of here quick before... I don't think it'll vent heat very nicely in there. I can open that door, biotic everyone out through the corridor. It's a fairly straight line. It should be cool on the other end. It'll be better than nothing. It'll be better than just letting the heat vent into here. It's the best I can do on with such technology.
Hearing your suggestion and everything, Clark is actually going to pull out the schematic of the entire ship and like throw it out, like go over to a wall. So instead of just having a basic holo display here, which is smaller, he's going to have a project onto a wall, like an old school projector. And so it's like shown for everybody to see, so we can enlarge it bigger and then kind of like zoom over and everything into the actual engineering room, so you guys can look around and see if you can come up with any other ideas, plans, anything like that. Because he's not disagreeing. Your plan is not bad. It's not a bad plan at all.
It's not ideal. She knows it's not ideal.
It's just, is there anything else that we could potentially do? Is there anything else that we can hope for? And so in doing that, why doesn't everybody do me a favor, and you can roll for me a no intelligence check. But because there's a map
lore
in front of you,
intelligence, then.
thank you, lore intelligence check. But you can roll that for me with a +1 because you have the map directly in front of you. Like zoomed in.
Y'all know shit.
It's like one of the few things I'm good at. Or not bad at.
Cracks can roll as well if you'd like.
I mean, it's probably not gonna know this.
That's fine. Okay, so with your
I'm not rolling for that. It's like he's probably not going to.
Antuary, maybe it's because she's just so set on her own plan and already distracted a little bit, thinking about the best way to throw somebody through, or whatever the case may be. Whatever it is, maybe that's why. But she's not as perceptive as the other two. However, both Winnie and Cattle standing next to each other, probably discussing it together.
Oh yeah,
what
we'd
it
be
is to work on.
brainstorming.
You actually realize that this engine room itself, while there is no second exit, come on, humans don't do that. There's only one entrance and exit to the room. There is, in fact, an emergency vent for this room out into space. And it's literally like one of those, there was a vent that, God forbid, things went catastrophic. They could vent this room, all the heat that could potentially be built up in here, out into space. While maybe that would hurt the engines of the ship permanently, if it's turned on or in that catastrophic emergency, it would save the crew. The rest of the crew throughout the rest of the ship, certainly the further you are from the engine room, would be safe. That is a way to get exposed into space. Luckily, there's no atmosphere on this ship, so it's not like there'd be like a burst outwards or anything like that, which is like be an opening. But that is something that you guys do notice, and if the engines are turned on, you might be able to access something like that.
Okay.
I like to imagine that we're just standing and like looking at the door and like, just look around. It's like, oh shit, there's an emergency vent there.
Look at
Who'd have
that.
thunk it?
Alright,
so
so
Do you guys share with
I
the
Well,
guess
we
we'll
can't-
raise that point then.
yeah, we can't access that until after the engines are turned on, though, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Unless you would try to go over there and try to do some sort of manual override sort of a thing. And because in theory, one of the things that you can do, and I'm bringing this up because you have already done similar stuff before, A, and B, you just asked. If you wanted to, you can manually override it and literally take a line shunt and you can stick it there and have that line shunt connect to your Omni tool. And then once things come online, you're already hard-lined into it with the line shunt.
Yeah.
And you
Alright,
can deal with
sounds good.
mechanics.
We'll do that.
So that's the plan. So you're gonna have Cracks go over and rip another panel off the wall. So you go over there and rip the other panel off the wall. The last line shunt that was never used because you got two more and left two behind, but use the third one you still have. You're gonna be able to go over there and attach that to the actual wires themselves to make sure you can handle this. But to succeed at this, you're going to have to roll for me an electronics check. I'm going to give you a +1 because you have Rick over here assisting you, Cattle assisting you.
Intelligence? Intelligence?
I'm sorry, yes. You feel confident with the work that you did to make sure that you can actually manually override this from a mechanical perspective as opposed to an interface, whatever perspective. And everybody seems ready. And so now with the batteries already attempting to do the work that they did, being drained even more, both of them at probably only 30% power, you're now going to take these 2 batteries and connect it to the engine and try to get the engine turned on, try to get the door sealed, which Antuari already did, get the engines turned on so it's self-sustaining, self-powering, and get this up and running. And so you go over, you take the batteries, you hook them up, and get everything started. You can roll for me a fixed check. Because you have everybody that is capable of doing so assisting with this, you can roll with a +3. I only keep having Erin roll because this is the one skill that she's just the best at.
Woohoo!
Okay. And so with the draining those batteries down to less than 10% each, you're able to get the Ezo engine online, everything online. Immediately in the room behind you, a bioscanner or whatever scanners you want can immediately see that in that room over there, heat is already starting to collect. So there's actually warmth in that room. Though it's not boil your skin hot yet, certainly things are getting warmer. And as soon as that comes online, as soon as everything comes online, we're going to take our break. And when we come back, we'll see what's happening. We'll see what's happening with their camp.
Bye, everyone. See you in 5 minutes.
5 minutes.